From translation, NIV New International Version, this 145th day of the year today we are reading passages, Nehemiah 4-6, Nehemiah chapter 4, verses 1 to 23. When Sanballat heard that we were rebuilding the wall, he became angry and was greatly incensed. He ridiculed the Jews, and in the presence of his associates and the army of Samaria, he said, "What are those Jews doing? Can they restore the wall in a day? Can they offer sacrifices? Can they finish in a time like this?" Tobiah the Ammonite, who was at his side, said, "What they are building, even a fox climbing up on it would break down their wall of stones. Hear us, our God, for we are despised. Turn their insults back on their own heads. Give them over as plunder in a land of captivity. Do not cover up their guilt or blot out their sins from your sight, for they have thrown insults in the face of the builders." So we rebuilt the wall till all of it reached half its height, for the people worked with all their heart. But when Sanballat, Tobiah, the Arabs, the Ammonites and the men of Ashdod heard that the repairs to Jerusalem's walls had gone ahead and that the gaps were being closed, they were very angry. They all plotted together to come and fight against Jerusalem and to throw it into confusion. But we prayed to our God and posted a guard day and night to meet this threat. Meanwhile, the people in Judah said, "The strength of the laborers is giving out, and there is so much rubble that we cannot rebuild the wall." Also our enemies said, "Before they know it or see us, we will be right there among them and will kill them and put an end to the work." Then the Jews who lived near them came and told us 10 times over, "Wherever you turn, they will attack us." Therefore I stationed some of the people behind the lowest points of the wall at the exposed places, posting them by families, with their swords, spears, and bows. After I looked things over, I stood up and said to the nobles, the officials and the rest of the people, "Don't be afraid of them. Remember the Lord who is great and awesome, and fight for your families, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your homes." When our enemies heard that we were aware of their plot and that God had frustrated it, we all returned to the wall, each to our own work. But from that day on, half of my men did the work, while the other half were equipped with spears, shields, bows, and armor. The officers stationed themselves behind all the people of Judah who were building the wall. Those who carried materials did their work with one hand and held a weapon in the other, and each of the builders wore his sword at his side as he worked. But the man who sounded the trumpet stayed with me. Then I said to the nobles, the officials and the rest of the people, "The work is extensive and spread out, and we are widely separated along the wall wherever each one works. Wherever you hear the trumpet, rally to us there. Our God will fight for us." So we continued the work with half of the men holding spears, from the first light of dawn till the stars came out. At that time I also said to the people, "Have every man stay in Jerusalem, so that on the night shift as well as during the day he can serve his own work." Neither I nor my brothers nor my men nor the guards with me took off our clothes. Each had his weapon, even when he went for water. Nehemiah chapter 5, verses 1 to 20. Now, the men and their wives raised a great outcry against their fellow Jews. Some were saying, "We and our sons and daughters are numerous. In order for us to eat and stay alive, we must get grain." Others were saying, "We are mortgaging our fields, our vineyards and our homes to get grain during the famine." Still others were saying, "We have had to borrow money to pay the king's tax on our fields and vineyards." Although we are of the same flesh and blood as our fellow Jews, and though our children are as good as theirs, yet we have to subject our sons and daughters to slavery. Some of our daughters have already been enslaved, but we are powerless because our fields and our vineyards belong to others. When I heard their outcry and these charges, I was very angry. I pondered them in my mind and then accused the nobles and the officials. I told them, "You are exacting usury from your own people." So I called together a large meeting to deal with them and said, "As far as possible, we have bought back our fellow Jews who were sold to the nations, but now you are selling your own countrymen, and we have to buy them back." They kept quiet because they could find no basis for what I said. "What you are doing is not good. Should you not walk in the fear of our God to avoid the reproach of our Gentile enemies? I and my brothers and my men are also lending the people money and grain, but let us stop charging interest. Give back to them immediately their fields, vineyards, olive groves and houses, and also the interest you are charging them. 1% of the money, grain, new wine and oil. We will give it back," they said. "And we will not demand anything more from them. We will do as you say." Then I summoned the priests and made the nobles and officials take an oath to do what they had promised. I also shook out the folds of my robe and said, "In this way may God shake out of their house and possessions anyone who does not keep this promise. So may such a person be shaken out and emptied." At this the whole assembly said, "Amen," and praised the Lord, and the people did as they had promised. Moreover, from the time I was appointed to be their governor in the land of Judah, from the 20th year until 32nd year of King Artaxerxes, 12 years, neither I nor my brothers ate the food allotted to the governor. The former governors, those preceding me, placed a heavy burden on the people and took 40 shekels of silver from them, besides provisions. Even their assistants lorded it over the people, but out of reverence for God I did not act like that. Instead, I devoted myself to the work on this wall. All my men were assembled there for the work. We did not acquire any land. Furthermore, 150 Jews and officials ate at my table, as well as those who came to us from surrounding nations. Now that which was prepared for each day was 1 ox and 6 choice sheep, also some fowl. Once every 10 days an abundance of all kinds of wine was provided. Yet despite this, I did not demand the food allotted to the governor, because the demands were heavy on these people. Remember me with favor, my God, for all I have done for these people. Nehemiah chapter 6, verses 1 to 19. When Sanballat, Tobiah, Geshem the Arab and the rest of our enemies heard that I had rebuilt the wall, and that there were no gaps left in it, though up to that time I had not set the doors in the gates, Sanballat and Geshem sent me this message. Come, let us meet together in one of the villages on the plain of Ono, but they were plotting to harm me. So I sent messengers to them with this reply: I am carrying on a great project and cannot go down. Why should the work stop while I leave it and go down to you? 4 times they sent me the same message, and each time I gave them the same answer. Then Sanballat sent his aide to me with an open letter in his hand. It said, "It is reported among the nations, and Geshem says it is true, that you and the Jews are plotting to rebel. This is what you are doing, you are rebuilding the wall. And according to these reports you are about to become their king, and have even appointed prophets to make this proclamation about you in Jerusalem: there is a king in Judah." Then I sent him this reply: Nothing like what you are saying is happening, you are just making it up out of your own head. They were all trying to frighten us, thinking their hands will get too weak for the work, and it will not be completed. But I prayed, now strengthen my hands. Meanwhile, one of my men, Tobiah the Ammonite, was at the house of the priest Eliashib. Tobiah had married Jehohanan's daughter, the son of Tobiah the Ammonite, and Tobiah kept encouraging him to do good. I also sent letters to the nobles in Judah, asking them to report to me if anyone was prophesying rebellion against the king. Before this, Tobiah had been employed by me and had been given an office in the house of God. Now all this was reported to me by his son-in-law, Jehohanan's son, and I reported it to you. Tobiah was also using letters to frighten me. I sent messengers to him with this reply: Nothing like what you are saying is happening, you are just making it up out of your own head. And I continued the work with the support of my God and the prayers of you all, and I was able to preserve the work from being stopped by the enemy, and my God's hand was upon me. So the wall was completed on the 25th of the month Elul, in 52 days. When all our enemies heard about this, all the surrounding nations were afraid and lost their self-confidence, because they realized that this work had been done with the help of our God. Also in those days, the nobles of Judah sent many letters to Tobiah, and Tobiah's letters came to them. For in letters that Tobiah had sent, he wrote, the nobles of Judah should be afraid of him, because his plans are directed against me and will cause you trouble. Tobiah was also trying to frighten us by saying that reports were being circulated among the Jews that he was about to harm me.